First player up, spawning at the top right, we have our red Protoss playing for Alpha X. Yes, classic.
That's right. And in the bottom left corner, playing for the Shopify Rebellion, opening up double gas, it is Byun.
Alright, a little bit of an interesting move here, opening up with 2 gases, and classic gonna have full vision of this.
Did he get the full scout? Yeah, he did get the scout on both gases here, so yeah, knows what he's up against. He's still throwing down the Nexus before the Cybernetics core, so yeah, it's confident that anything that Byun throws at him will be defendable with this opening. And really, he's gotten all the intel that he needs to get. Saw that there's a Marine, not a Reaper, and he can set up accordingly now.
Yeah, so gonna be interesting to see what this is. I would imagine there will be a starport follow-up, and this might be... Oh, I think it's either gonna be Hellion, like the 4 Hellion drop, or it could just be Widowmine drop. And looking from the looks of it, with his first unit coming out of that factory, I'm guessing it's gonna be a Widowmine drop.
Yes, and that's quite curious to me, because unless you're adding an armory to this, those mines will be able to be visible after they shot, and then yeah, be able to clean them up quite quickly. But I don't think you play an armory with this if you do it off of one base, which Byun is doing. So yeah, interesting opening here. Definitely looking for some damage.
Yeah, looks like he's gonna wait for that medevac to come on here. Now, a classic kind of scouting around his bases, the outskirts of his bases, with the adept, making sure there's no proxy here. But he did open up with a Stargate, which means that he's gonna have the Phoenixes to kind of lift up those Widow Mines, as well as chase down that medevac. However, he does need some units to defend against the Marines, which he does have. I think he has 2 adepts here. Yeah, it looks like 2 adepts. The third one about to pop out, so he should have enough tools to clean up or defend this Widow Mine medevac or Marine Widow Mine drop here.
Yeah, so he has the tools. There's 2 Phoenixes out that he can defend with. Byun did follow up this up with an armory, so this Widow Mine is going to fire and be invisible for the time being, but the rest of the drop, oh, is this medevac gonna go down? Yeah, this is entirely cleaned up except for the Widow Mine in Classic's main base, and that is, unless this Widow Mine gets another huge shot off, this is a very good defense so far for Classic. Does he know that this Widow Mine is still around though? I feel like yeah, now he sees it, pulls off at just the right time, and now he even gets the opportunity to pick up the Widow Mine. Flawless defense for Classic.
Yeah, let's see here. 3 probes going down, but for 1 Widow Mine, 1 medevac, and 6 Marines, that I think will Classic should be relatively happy with. Oh my God, I'm gonna lift up those Widow Mine. Oh no, did he not have enough energy? Yeah, he did not have enough energy, I think, to lift up those Widow Mines. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Both of these Widow Mines surviving on like 1 HP. Got 7 more probes, but don't forget that this was a 1 base opening for Byun, so he really was looking to do a lot more damage here. And Classic, yeah, could have been further ahead, but with his 3rd base on the map and really no threat of taking any more damage anytime soon, really looking in a stellar position this game.
Well, a little bit of these adepts will get caught off in the middle here, which is some nice pickup for Byun. And looks like the adepts will commit here, getting 3 SCV kills. Can he get more? Looks like this will be the end of this harassment. Unfortunately, it takes 3 adepts to one-shot SCVs. If this was against a Zerg or a Protoss, a different story, as it does takes 2, but SCVs does have just that little bit of extra health points, so doesn't quite have enough adepts to one-shot it.
Yeah. So Byun now moving out onto the map with the 2 Cyclones, 2 Vikings, and a bunch of Marines here. Classic, in anticipation of this, skipping up on a bit of tech and going for Immortals here, which are very nice defensively. And with these 2 Cyclones being stasis warded, he can chase off this entire army now, engaging with the Phoenix. I'm not sure if that's the greatest idea. You're gonna lose a bunch of Phoenix here, Classic. It's still taking the fight, and Big Daddy Immortal shows up, so this will be a cleanup. But lost 2 of the Phoenixes when he really didn't have to take that fight just yet. Yeah, chases out these final 2 Cyclones here, so he gets the full cleanup for his effort.
Yeah, so a little bit of a scrappy fight here out in the middle, but all in all, Classic does defend. He still has his dirt up and running. And do we even have a dirt CC yet here for Byun? Looks like we don't have a dirt CC, and he's actually adding in more barracks, a 4th and the 5th barrack. So he might just be going for an all-in of some sort, cause he's gonna be quite behind on the economy if he doesn't do enough damage with this.
It's really gonna ramp up the aggression here, but Classic on the other side of the map, because his defense was so good to the early game, he's now adding 6 more gates, so he's going to have a really good gateway count. He's saturated on his 3 bases now, so as soon as he figures out that this is a 2 base play from Byun. I mean, Byun is adding his 3rd command center, but yeah, he added his 4th and 5th barracks before that, so there will be some aggression. And as soon as Classic figures that out, he can just focus on having a really tight defense, not taking damage, and will be able to snowball the game from there if the defense is good enough.
Alright, 2 medevac drops out across the map here. However, Classic still has those Phoenixes, and the one thing about going up against Phoenix builds is that you got to be careful. It's always a risk to go ahead and go for those medevac drops, and luckily for him, Classic not quite paying attention, but yeah, it doesn't chase those medevacs.
Byun spotting the Phoenixes before the Phoenixes spot Byun there might have saved him some trouble. So yeah, retains these units to use them for other purposes a little bit later on the game. Now meeting up with the other main force of Byun, and yeah, takes some map control. But I really do think with the opening that Classic has here, that Byun is gonna have a hard time finding the damage. The observer does now spot the army moving across the map, but the army at home for Classic is significant, and charge and +1 is ready, and he just wants to jump on it. He has charge ready, picks up the tank and wants to meet the army in the middle of the map, completely deflecting the aggression, picks up another tank. The boys are coming in now for Byun, but yeah, it's just being pushed back entirely by Classic here. He doesn't even defend, he just meets him head up in the middle of the map and slaps him.
Yeah, and I thought for a second like this was going to be like an SCV pool, but it was actually just transferring SCVs to the third base, so that was quite a little bit funny there. But yeah, Classic does go ahead and start throwing down his 4th base, as he does kind of stops that push there, and kind of also nice kind of pick up on those tanks. Only 1 tank left over for Byun, so he's going to try to make his MMM army try to work, and he's gonna have to like attack at different areas, because that army of Classic is growing scarier and scarier by the minute.
Yeah, I think as soon as these 2 Colossuses are out for Classic, he can just meet those up with the main army and go for all out aggression on Byun here. There's really no counterplay to these Colossus from Byun, and he would have to pull a rabbit out of the hat to get out of this one, I feel like. Oh, there was a disruptor shot, getting a huge part of the bioforce of the already smaller army of Byun, and yeah, he just recognizes that this is an unplayable situation and taps out.
Alright, as we wait for the answer, we will begin our second game here on Romanticide. Our first player here at the bottom right, up 1-0 and looking to extend it to 2-0 from Alpha X. Yes, Classic.
And in the top left corner, playing for the Shopify Rebellion, the cheese not quite yet working out on this first map for him. It is Byun.
Huh, Vitamin, what do you make of this? Like, making that barracks all the way to the left side instead of like the standard ramp area.
So it is a bit of a diversion. Classic did go for quite an early probe scout, which had it straight for the main base on the last map. So this is just potentially throwing Classic off just a little bit, but we see here from excuse me, from Classic, he is scouting proxy locations. So when entering this main base and not seeing a barracks, he will have already like checked off some marks on his list of like, okay, there aren't proxies in this location that I've scouted for. And there's also just the potential that he will straight up move his probe a little bit to the left and see it, but hasn't so far.
Oh wow, I think this is actually gonna get away with it. But although he does see the command center, so he knows that it's not like a full-on proxy. It's probably he's probably anticipating like a proxy racks, but again, unbeknownst to him, he's not actually getting proxy. That barracks is on the far left side.
So far, really no reaction from Classic to a potential proxy. So I think he's figured it out that that this is just a diversion play from Byun.
All right, once again, Classic going for that Stargate opening. It has worked out nicely for him in the previous game, but I also think it was a little bit of a build order advantage opening up because, again, Byun did open up with a medevac with full of Marines and Widowmine, and that Phoenix play does do really nicely against that. Did take a little bit of time to clean up the rest because of the armory, which made the Widowmines invisible, but this time around, I don't think we're going to have the same play again coming out of Byun. So this might be a little bit of a different dynamic into this game here, and we'll see how that kind of progresses. But meanwhile, this first adept will go here and... oh, does get blocked in the nick of time.
So it does recently seem that this this style of play with the Stargate opening into the Phoenix is a preferred style of Classic. He's shown this a couple of times in his matches against Cure and also versus Byun. And how he usually goes about it is he will start producing Phoenixes, and if it isn't scouted, he will bank them up to then defend whatever aggression is being thrown at him. In this scenario, though, he's really not gotten any info on Byun, so he uses his first Phoenix to get confirmation on what is happening. And this is actually a very big scout that just happened here. He saw 2 additional barracks with tech labs already researching, and that just shows him that Byun did open up 3 barracks rather than any sort of factory play, which just means that this is now a threat. This main army move out with a lot of Byun units is a threat, but no other factory, starport, harassment, Widowmine shenanigans. I'm not a fan of him using these Phoenixes for harassment now, because he must know that Byun's forces are now heading across the map, and he's gonna need every last bit of this pickup energy to defend this push. It's a scary push. It has stim and combat shield.
Yeah, but you know what? I think Classic should be okay. I mean, he elected not to go for the early third. He actually went for more production buildings with the shield battery here. I think he should be fine, possibly.
So far so good for Classic here. The shield battery overcharge has now expired, but this shield battery is full energy, and Byun just deciding to dive on into this. but obviously his units are already weakened by his own stim, and now these Phoenixes are returning, completely cleaning out this Terran army, and Byun not finding the damage that he was looking for. Really nice play by Classic, recognizing the situation that he's in, not being greedy and taking the third base. And now, with these Phoenixes, he has full map control. The follow-up push for Byun is not going to be super scary because there are no medivacs yet. The starport is super late, and this is just once again a position that Classic can feel very comfortable in.
Oh, but he's got to be careful. Don't want to lose those Phoenixes, even though they don't have any energy. They are, you know, very useful in the late game when the Terran player wants to go ahead and do those you know, those drops, those annoying drops. And especially on a map like this where there's a lot of dead airspace to drop in, you want to save those Phoenixes to at least park them at the dead airspace, scout for any drops and pick them off. But at the very least, he does establish his third base. Gonna set up some shield battery as well. And this time around with 2 Immortals, I think he should have a much easier time, especially with that Colossus popping out soon.
With this Colossus popping out, this small army from Byun is not going to find any damage. I also like a small development that I see in Classic's play over the last couple of days. He usually likes to skip shield batteries at his third base. I don't know why he does it, but in a lot of situations he just doesn't add that shield battery. But in this specific case, he's added it. Oh, and now jumps onto the army in the middle of the map. Yeah, once again, really dominating position.
Yeah, Classic has played this pretty well. First off, spotting out the 3 ranks push, making sure he didn't go for the typical like 4-minute mark or so third nexus. Instead, getting those double gases, powering up his production buildings to get more units out and to get more tech out. And right now it has certainly paid off as his Colossus tech is up and running. Thermal Lance about to finish, and the only thing that is that he needs to just basically do is keep up with the upgrades, and I think he should be okay.
Yeah. Classic has committed to this Phoenix Colossus style for a long time. That's why his upgrades are I was going to say not amazing, but he's up to 2 forges now, so he's getting way ahead even now, which is something that you don't see all the time with this Phoenix Colossus style. So Byun, in anticipation of the Colossus, has gone into double starport Viking production, and knowing Byun, he's going to look for damage once again, but he once again finds himself in a position where his army is just inferior of that of the Protoss, and if he does go for that full-on frontal engagement, I'm afraid that he's not going to come out on top in that.
Yeah, I'm a little bit afraid here for Byun. In the straight-up army, I think Classic does have the better army, especially with those that +2/1 upgrade about to finish soon, and the 3 Colossus. Now, Byun is starting to make some Vikings, but I mean I'm not sure that's quite enough Vikings to efficiently take them out quickly. He is actually transitioning to a Ghost Academy as he's anticipating a kind of a Templar Archive transition coming out of Classic, which is actually exactly what he's doing. Going to turn that into some Archons, but here we go. It might have a huge engagement here at the 4th base of the Protoss.
Well, so one thing that Classic doesn't have just yet is Blink Stalkers. So he doesn't have Blink Stalkers to zone out these Vikings. His primary Viking defense are still these Phoenix here, and that is that's something that Byun can capitalize on. But yeah, he's a little bit too afraid to look for a bigger commitment at that 4th base. So if Classic is allowed to get this 4th base up, then he'll be in a nice position. But Byun now, with the army that he is building, with Ghosts coming up, with a lot more Vikings coming up, he can soon start to look for a proper engagement. And yeah, he's just kiting off these Colossus here, just one going down for absolutely free. There's no real anti-air for Classic here, so these Vikings dive in quite far. Classic only now realizing that he doesn't have blink nor charge. So suddenly this army from Byun looking very, very scary. No shield batteries here either to heal up this very, very bruised Protoss army. Has Classic made a blunder by forgetting his critical upgrades from the Twilight Council? It almost appears that way. He really can't engage his army. These zealots are just so slow, never connecting, and all the NPs all over the Protoss army. Byun just absolutely stomping Classic here. And oh man, not going for these upgrades, neither charge nor blink. Hurting Classic here, can't take the engagement, and Byun jumps on the opportunity.
This guy spawning at the bottom left, looking to redeem himself from the last game. Can he do it? From Alpha X, this is Classic.
And in the top right corner, the guy for the Shopify Rebellion, absolute madman, grinding it out. Played all day already, and he's going to play even more. He's playing in this event, and then the Wardy summer event in, I think, in approximately 4 hours, and then another show match after that. So absolute mad lad here. It is Byun.
Yeah, that's quite crazy. I mean, that's basically StarCraft morning, afternoon, and night, and that is quite a long day of StarCraft, indeed.
Yeah, I mean, Byun has been known to have some wrist issues here and there, but who can, judge his issues better than himself? And if he feels like he can get away with this, and this is what he needs to compete on the highest level, who can blame him?
Yeah, and actually, you know, I heard of this, I wouldn't say it's a rumor, but I think I've heard of this hearing that since Byun joined Shopify Rebellion, they've been helping him work on those risk issues. So, you know, I guess that's one of the positives of joining up with the team. Maybe they have the resources to help you out with your physical issues if you do have some. And so maybe, you know, maybe that's the reason why Byun has been able to kind of play a bit more, is because he has been getting help in mitigating some of that pain issues, as well as I believe he's historically has had the wrist pain issues more so in the GSL studio, the Africa studio, or sorry, not the Africa studio, the GSL studio, where it's a bit more colder and stuff, so it gets more maybe stiff or something. While at home, I think he's a bit more comfortable and doesn't have that issue as much or as often.
Yeah. So I can actually confirm for you that that isn't just a rumor. That is something that Dario TLO, who is involved with the Shopify Rebellion, has announced publicly on Twitter when they did sign Byun. So yeah, he is in fact getting help, and maybe it's shown. And yeah, like you said, he's more comfortable at home. He has already paused events that he's playing at home as well. But yeah, doesn't seem to be the case today. So yeah, maybe it's also something that depends on like his daily condition.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that one seems just fine, just good today. Oh, 4 Hellions here running into the natural of Classic. 2 Phoenixes coming for the help to pick these up, and now as soon as they're getting dropped down, the Adepts will be able to clean them off. Yeah, I guess we can talk a little bit about the game here again. Classic once again opening Phoenix. Byun mixing it up, going for a reacted Hellion opening, and gets 3 probes for 3 Hellions so far, so not the damage that he was looking for. And now Classic is the one that can turn it around and get a little bit aggressive here with these Phoenixes and Adepts heading across the map. Oh, but he just chains the Adepts, and all of the Terran units getting absolutely nothing done here. Oh, that could have gone so much better if these 3 Adepts join up with the Phoenixes, then there's maybe potential for some damage. But yeah, Classic just not paying attention to the shade there, letting it finish, just loses all 3 adepts to, yeah, gain absolutely nothing out of that.
Yeah, I think he was preoccupied and had his attention focused on chasing down that one injured Hellion, so he forgot to kind of cancel the shade there. And sometimes, you know, it does happen. You just forget to cancel the shade.
Yeah, but now this, oh, once again, he just oversteps with his units just a little bit, loses 2 Phoenixes, and oh, this just this looks very different from the play that he has shown in map 1, where he had absolutely flawless defensive play and then just snowballed it. Maybe that last game, the mistakes there were flustered him a little bit, because he is definitely far from flawless in this map, losing key units, and now it's gonna struggle a little bit to even defend this small move out here from Byun. Shield barrier not quite done yet, and these stalkers are unupgraded. Oh, nice force field though, gonna get the cyclone.
Classic's got to be careful because these stalkers actually don't quite have blink yet. Instead, he's actually researching charge, bypassing blink all in all. But meanwhile, this Orko is still being very annoying, trying to zap away at these SCVs. A lot of these SCVs are actually in the red life, not quite dead yet. So a little bit kind of unfortunate for Classic. Could have gotten maybe like 3 to 4 SCVs there.
Yeah.
But he does at least save that and parks it back all the way at the back in the top right side. Meanwhile, Templar Archive being thrown down, more gateways as well. So looking very much like Classic is going for that classic, no pun intended, that classic charge lot, maybe a Mortals, Archons kind of army composition. Although I don't quite see a robotics facility, so maybe he's going to be stuck with just mainly these gateway units for the time being.
Yeah, so this it's quite greedy to skip out on the robotics for that long, but I guess he never saw the threat of any like sort of a Widowmine harassment coming in. So as long as he doesn't completely forget about it, in this game he's gonna get away with skipping the robo for this long. I would also like to see him start blink here as soon as the charge is ready, because he has quite a large number of stalkers on the map. But his first priority is defending this move out and this drop at the same time from Byun, and this is looking quite scary, even though charge is finished. Super battery activated, more zealots warping in. The drop in the main base also defended, so Classic not taking any damage just yet, but Byun once again approaching on this third base, just kiting away against these gateway units here. A couple of units running into the stasis ward, which is a nice little victory for Classic. So maybe he wants to jump on this army now, and does take out a medevac. So yeah, takes some punch out of this. But Byun happy just microing against this. As soon as the zealots charge in, he's kiting back, and he's trading quite okay, I would say, especially now that only a few zealots are engaging this army. There's no more threat on the other side of the map in his main base. That medevac has been cleaned up, so it's really all about this one brute force at the third base. And Storm is finished, and there are now 3 Templars that already have the energy gathered up. So any further attempt from Byun should meet heavier resistance even than before from Classic now.
Well, looks like Byun is going to go ahead and potentially go to the left side instead. Oh, gotta be careful. Does want to split his units up and don't want to take those storms.
Yeah, doing a good job so far. Recognizes that he's up against Storm, so never really engaging. But yeah, Classic, good defensive play here. He doesn't have a 4th base yet, but yeah, Byun has been committing to a bit of the multitasking, and Classic has not given him the openings yet. So yeah, quite nice play from both sides, admittedly.
Yeah, I agree. Both players are kind of, I mean, Classic on his side, defending pretty well, but at the same time, Byun also harassing very well, and hasn't also suffered any like counter attack, like Zealot run by kind of damage or anything like that, or even the War Prism into his main base. So I would love to see Classic kind of incorporate some of that, War Prism harass, but I think he's kind of busy right now, kind of making or producing his Colossus or Disruptor army right now, as his Robotics Bay just finished.
His Robotics Bay finished. He once again skipped out on the Blink, so Blink is always nice when you're transitioning into a Colossus-based army. He's taken better and better trades against these split up armies here from Byun, and as soon as he can establish a 4th base, he is really in a nice position in this game. But yeah, on the other side of the map, Byun also taken his 4th base. A bit lacking in the upgrades though. He did stop at 1-1 because he never. Is it even 1-1? Let me check. Yeah, so Marines are upgraded 1-1, and he only just now added the armory. Once again, another fight on the middle of the map, but not that close to Classic's 4th base. So once again, as long as he can set up his 4th base and operate from there, going into the Colossus, he's in a nice position in this game.
Yeah, so it looks like things are settling down, and kind of looks like both players trying to find damage here and there, but not quite getting it. And I think this actually might go into the long game, as both of these players are just kind of trading back and forth. Now, Classic, he's gonna have to be careful because there are ghosts out on the field. So those High Templars, I would love to see him kind of load them up into like a medevac, or not medevac, a War Prism, and kind of use the War Prism High Templar kind of drop maneuver. Now that is a bit more difficult to execute, but I think Classic does have the kind of have the micro for that. So that does allow him to kind of avoid all those crucial EMPs, as well as kind of make sure they don't get like sniped off, because you do see sometimes during the engagement that the Terran player will kind of segment off some of these Marines and Marauders and just kind of focus fire on the High Templar that is moving forward. But anyhow, let's hold that thought, as there is a 2 medevac drop here into the main base. As you can see, Classic well set up there.
Gets some storms off, but yeah, forces the Archon more. This is more of an attention check from Byun more than anything else. He was never really expecting to get a whole lot of damage done there, but yeah, just wanted to make room for his army on the other side of the map. Oh, there are Templar just outside of the range of that scan, getting some nice zoning storms there. And now in the medevac, just like you wanted it. Oh, but gets only storm on the other side. But now Byun being quite far pushed back here. There really isn't a huge answer to these Colossus here. There are a few Vikings, but he's not really getting the position that he's looking for. And now Classic in the 4th base of Byun. Another huge storm onto the army. Feedbacks on the Ghosts. Kills 10 SCVs, denies the 4th base location. Really nice from Classic here, and he's not done yet.
Yeah, his War Prism still warping in units to reinforce here. A lot of these infantry units very low in life and not a lot of energy left on these medevacs. I think Byun might have just overstimmed a bit too much, and now Classic is going to march in forward, pushing and breaking through Byun's army, and Byun is going to tap out Classic. Going to take the series lead 2-1.
Once again, Classic with an earlier probe scout, sees exactly what is up against. Did drop down the Nexus before the Cybernetics course, so yeah, a bit of a greedier opening. You don't have any units available until this Cybernetics core finish up. You don't really want to build a Zealot, so but knows what he's up against. Sees the command center going down for Byun as well, and yeah, we'll go flawlessly into this into the transition of the early mid game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this map and I'm thinking maybe, yeah, Byun wants to go for a 3 ranks build because like a stim timing of some sort. Because again, this map is so short that you can kind of walk your units across the map, go for a stim timing, and then hopefully catch your opponent with his pants down. And Classic, I don't think, unless he senses a depth over across the, okay, looks like he will. Okay, because I was about to say he maybe wants to just send across the map the adept just to scout what's upcoming. Now the 2 racks are already kind of hidden in the back area, so he's not going to see those 2 racks to confirm. But with the reactor on the barracks on the ramp area, I think that should give a nice indication because there's only a limited amount of things that can kind of possibly come out of that. That means that the factory was not switched out with the barracks, and that kind of limits the amount of possibilities. And I think Classic, his spidey senses should be tingling a little bit.
Also worth noting that the Classic did go for Sentry as a second unit out of the gateway here, so he will have the opportunity to hallucinate a Phoenix and fly over onto the other side of the map to get that confirmed scouting. Yeah, that is exactly what he chooses to do here. So we'll once again identify the 3 barracks bio play from Byun quite quickly. This time he's not opening Stargate. He's this time around he's playing a Blink. So it's a bit of a different style of defending, and even though Classic didn't quite see the barracks just yet, the amount of Marines should be a dead giveaway as to what's happening here. He is a bit greedier in his 3rd base timing, but as long as he adds the shield battery here, Blink will be finished when this move out from Byun happens. So with the shield battery and the Blink micro capabilities, he should be a-okay against this stim move out. Actually, quite a nice opening against the 3 barracks style that Byun is showing here.
Yeah, I'm quite liking the 2nd edition of the shield battery. I would say maybe 2 to 3 even shield batteries here at the 3rd base here would be nice. Because again, if you only have 1, those Marines can just like stim on the shield battery and just take it out immediately. So you want to have at least additional 2nd or 3rd shield battery behind that. And we do see the move out for Byun. Stim is a finish. Can he force out the stim? He does force out the stim here.
Yeah, but Blink is also ready. 1 shield battery being dove on, but the other one gets the battery overcharge, and now Byun forced to stim a 2nd time around. And yeah, this army is really in no condition to fight anymore. Jumps on this army, he gets 2 stalkers for his troubles, but these stalkers will just be able to chase down this Spyro army. He loses another stalker, but really worth it to just completely reset the army count here from Byun. And once again, Classic, very, very good early game, gets flawlessly into the mid game, has his 3rd base set up, can freely chrono boost away on the probes here. Byun not even yet thinking about a 3rd base, quite the opposite. He's once again adding his barracks number 4 and number 5 before building a command center. So once again, gonna try to bring the aggression to Classic, but just same thing that we saw in map number 1 and map number 2. Classic with a good probe count, with a good gateway count, with all the controlled and map vision that he could hope for. Just a really good setup for the aggression.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I wouldn't even be surprised if Byun just like pulled the boys and just go for an all-out attack and just like line it up with his +1 armor. But it looks like he is going to go ahead and throw down that 3rd base. So he is going to go and try to transition out of this. However, it is going to be an uphill climb as his initial push didn't quite do much damage. Maybe a couple of stalkers here and there, but didn't really do any economic damage. And Classic did go for that early 3rd. So as you can see in the income graph, it is spiking hugely for our red Protoss.
And with this first Colossus coming out here, Classic is more comfortable splitting up his army. He's pulled the Stalkers into the natural base in anticipation of a drop there, and just defending his third base with the Colossus and the charge lots. And we see Byun this time not really going for the multitask, just going for this frontal attack. But even that, as long as he doesn't jump straight on onto this Colossus, this should be a defense for Classic. Yeah, Stalkers joining in, the Colossus free firing, shield battery overcharge only just now being activated, and with the second Colossus, this is it looks like Byun is trading quite well actually. So maybe I spoke too soon. The Colossus are still standing strong though, and yeah, it is a closer defense than I anticipated, but it is a defense.
Yeah, it was a pretty, I guess, efficient for Byun, but at the same time, like those higher value units, the Colossus still stands tall, and that kind of worries me for Byun because that Colossus count is going to increase further and further, and the thermal lance is actually going to finish up as well. So the next time around, those Colossus will have longer range, and will do better in those battles. So Byun is gonna have to kind of a split up Classic's army, just like maybe attack onto the main base as well as into the third base or into the natural. Just do multiple drops. But look at here, Classic already kind of anticipating this, throwing down a bunch of spotter pylons to make sure he does not get caught off guard.
Yeah, he's setting up to take his fourth base, and that is always the opening that the aggressive Terran is looking for to pounce on Sunder. Yeah, I really like the addition of these spotter pylons, and Byun is really putting himself into this position where he has to look for constant damage. He's added the Ghost Academy rather than an armory to go further into his upgrade, so he's sitting on 1-1 for quite a while here, and I'm a bit worried for him that Classic just gets ahead in these upgrades. +2 already finishing while he is stuck on 1-1.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out on those upgrades. But it looks like Classic ready to move out. Got 3 Colossus, 3 Archons, a bunch of Charge Light and Stalkers. I would imagine some additional Warpins before this huge battle commences. And this is going to be quite a difficult hold. Byun might want to go ahead and set up a kind of a concave of some sort. But before then, he is going to go ahead and take out these rocks to kind of open up the surface area.
Yeah, Byun with not as many ghosts as you would like here. And they're in the front line. They're getting their MPs off, but really no more ghost support in this battle here. The Stalkers a little bit stuck on the high ground, blinking down now, firing onto the Vikings. The Colossus one has been taken out, but 2 are still free firing, and Byun's supply is plummeting. He has to pull the SCVs into this fight, and it's not looking good for the Terran player. He's just being overwhelmed here. The last Colossus is going down, but there's still a strong Stalker force doing all the damage that he needs. A couple more Zealots joining in the fray, and this third base of Byun is just completely ransacked, and there's no coming back from a Protoss that is in your natural. Classic takes the series 3-1.